Fanfiction Friday is back. Yay! Let's grade your Mariners trades. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Friday, November 17th, 2023. This is Heading is Austin, Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, brought to you by Jase Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jase case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today over at jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. Thank you so much for making us your first listen here on Fanfiction Friday. Subscribe, like, and turn on alerts if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform if you like what you hear. And if you're part of the crew and rock with us every single day, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want to hear from us even more, please consider signing up for our Patreon. You can now get a free 7-day trial to check out the show. The link, as well as their social accounts, is in the description of this episode. So today we are starting back up an off-season favorite for some. It's called Fanfiction Friday. And if you're new to the show, so stoked. If you're new to the show, or just new to Fanfiction Friday, or it's been a while and you need a refresher, it's very simple. We ask you for Mariners trades, and we grade them using the 20-80 scouting scale, 20 being the worst, 80 being the best, of course, and we grade them on a multitude of factors like creativity, viability, and so on. I also told you guys on Twitter last night for me, we're recording this on Thursday ahead of time, that you'll get bonus points for the more unhinged ideas. So I'm hoping we have some pretty unhinged stuff in here as well.
I feel like you might have said that on the Patreon show, but okay.
No, it was on my personal Twitter account.
Twitter,
Most of you sent the trades to me directly, not to the actual tweet on the Locked On account asking for the trades. So I had to dig through 2 tweets for these trades.
You know why I like this particular episode of Fanfiction Friday? Because yesterday's episode, we released our offseason plan. I know plenty of people will sit there and be like, these guys are idiots. They don't know the trade value of anybody. Here you go.
Right.
The tables have turned.
Now it's your turn to step up to the plate. So let's
see what
here.
You got.
Let's start here with Switch. Switch has a deal with the Orioles, Anthony Santander, Mac Horvath, and Justin Armbruster for Bryce Miller.
First of all, I don't believe those prospects are real people. Right. Second of all, 0 out of 10, 20 grade. Like,
really?
I mean, it's not very good. Santander
you're starting out with a bang.
Santander is a 1-year stopgap option. Again, remember, guys, when you send us trades, we will not entertain your idea of, well, you could just extend him. Nope, doesn't work that way. You're sending us this, whatever his club control is, that's how we're grading these trades. 1 year of Santander is not worth Bryce Miller. Not even close. Santander is not even that good. A little bit overrated. He really is. So why am I trading Bryce Miller, who can help me for the next 6 years and probably give me the same WAR that Santander can in 2024 for a couple of prospects? That's the difference? Nope. Sorry. Try again. Not even a Colton Cowser, not even a Connor Norby. Colby Mayo. Is it Colby Mayo? Kobe.
It's Kobe. It's Kobe.
Kobe. Yeah. So nope. Sorry.
Which is better than Colby. Am I right, folks?
I mean, Kobe Bryant is better than Colby Bryant. I'll say that.
Sure.
But no, it's a 25. I'll give it a 25. Okay. Just because you came up with a couple names that I'd never heard of. But
you haven't heard of Mac Horvath?
No, I have, but
okay. All right.
No, I have, but no, okay. I'm not. That doesn't sway me at all. For me, essentially what you sent me is Santander for Bryce Miller. No, it's only a 25 instead of a 20 because you threw in the prospects.
Yeah. I like these players, but for 6 years of Bryce Miller, who's already flash middle of the rotation stuff, and really with just like a good fastball, really good fastball, but like there's so much more room for him, to grow. And he's one of, I said this during the Radio Rosarena segment of our offseason plan show. Like, he is one of very few players who are feasibly available this offseason who represent the most valuable commodity in all of baseball, which is controllable starting pitching. I like Matt Horvath. I don't know much about Armbruster, but from what I've seen, like, solid prospect. And I like Anthony Santander. He would help, but that's just not proper value for me for Bryce Miller. That's not, like, it's gonna it will have to take something legit, and I'm talking about a controllable major league player who has at least a couple of seasons of like 3 to 4 win production for me to go, you know what, I'm gonna subtract from my greatest strength on my roster, trade Bryce Miller.
Right. Don't forget, you have to replace Bryce Miller, and you might need another pitcher anyways, even if you don't trade Miller or Wu. So,
right.
Yeah, if you're not getting one back that can help you, it's just not worth it. If Santander had like 3 years left, we could maybe have a conversation, but he's only got 1, and that just kind of kills the whole thing right there.
Yeah, there are definitely worse trades than this, and I'm gonna try to
I'll give it a 30.
I'm gonna try.
You're right. We have seen a lot worse.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to be more generous with my scoring this time around. I'll go 30. I'll go 30.
Ty's already trying to paint me as the bad guy of this season. Right. Okay.
I mean, always.
Sure.
All right. Next one comes from Jaden. It's a deal with the Rays. It's another Bryce Miller trade. Bryce Miller and the Vanilla Missile, Walter Ford, which that looks kind of familiar, to the Rays for Josh Lowe and Austin Shenton. So it's not a Randy Arozarena deal. It's not a Harold Ramirez deal. It's a Josh Lowe deal. And we've kind of talked about Josh Lowe more so in passing. I think this is fine. You probably need something better than Walter Ford. But overall, I think it's fine.
I don't know if you do. I mean, that's kind of one of those personal preferences. Like, do the Rays think they can get more out of Ford? But I also think that the Rays probably view Lowe as a more valuable piece than Miller. So you might actually have to tack on to make up the difference there. But yeah, I mean, like, look, if you're going to trade Miller for a, let's say, less than proven major leaguer, it's got to be somebody like Josh Lowe, who at least has 1 full season. Well, it's closer a little bit, a season and a half in the big leagues of, relatively good production. He's a 118 WRC plus career guy, 273, 323, 457. He belongs in a corner, but he did just come off of a 3.5 win season, almost a 4 win season. So yeah, I think if you're, going to trade Miller and it's not going to be for an established, like, all-star level big leaguer, then Lowe is a good guy to target. I don't know if you can actually get Lowe. I think the Rays would just be like, no, we'll keep Lowe because we want to use him to replace a Arozarena or Ramirez or Margot, like whoever they end up trading. But yeah, overall, this is a good thought process, and it's a deal that if I saw come across the ticker, I'd be like, okay, I get it. I'd ask what their plan was for the starting rotation, but I think this would be a pretty solid deal. So I'll give it a good solid. Plus, it has Austin Shenton in it, so I feel like I have to give it at least a 50. So I'll go 55. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 55 as well. Even maybe push a 60, so call it 58. Because I really think it's like one piece from the Mariners away, or a significant upgrade from Ford, maybe to like Ty Pete, which I know is expensive, but that might be what it takes.
It might be, yeah. So, yeah, the only thing keeping me from going like higher than a 55, and that's like my max on this, is that I just don't think the Rays would do it. But also, I don't know. Like, I'm totally guessing. Yeah. So, yeah, this is one of the better ones we've seen on Fanfiction Friday. We haven't, just in general, ever since we started the series, we haven't done this. I don't think we did this once throughout the year, did we? I don't think we did this during the trade deadline. I don't remember doing an episode since last winter. So
Yeah, I can't
let us
remember.
know if you guys remember. But this is
We
one
do
of
a
the
lot
better
of
ones
these
that we've seen.
episodes, folks. We lose
Yeah,
track. It's very easy for
we
us to
do.
lose track.
We
Plus, on top of that, we're also doing CTZ twice a week, so
It's
a lot
at
of
least
podcasting.
it's at least 200 episodes a year, probably closer to 250. So we do a lot. So they all kind of run together. But
yeah, these
this
microphones put in a lot of work.
this is one of the better ones though. So good job.
All right, yeah, good job, Jaden. All right, so we got a few more trades to go over here on Fanfiction Friday, but first, a reminder: this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Jase Medical. You know, we spend a lot of time talking together, you and I. We get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts and who sits. And I'm thankful for that connection we have. But today, I want our chat to be a little more personal. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply on ED medications. You realize what that means? Bring on extended travel, bring on the next natural disaster supply chain issue because you are covered, my friend. You don't have to worry anymore about whether or not you can refill your generics for Cialis, Viagra, or Revatio prescription. And this is possible because of our friends over at Jase Medical. Go online right now at jasemedical.com to receive your 12-month supply on your daily medication. Remember to use the promo code LOCKEDON, that's LOCKEDON, at checkout for a discount as well. A verified customer had this to say about Jase. Quote, I am thankful for this service. Supply chain issues caused me to cut pills in half to have it. I ordered most of my daily meds with a year's supply, and I also ordered an antibiotic kit. Now I feel secure. Prices are lower than local pharmacies, and I highly recommend this for everyone. So, if you or someone you love will get some peace of mind by having a year's supply of any daily med, go to jasemedical.com to see if it's offered for you. Remember to use the promo code LOCKEDON, that's LOCKEDON, $20 off your purchase. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen. And as a reminder, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right, let's continue looking at your Mariners trade proposals here on Fanfiction Friday. Got a proposal here from Mudcat Grant. Ha-Sung Kim, the Padres middle infielder, for Prolander Baroa, Emerson Hancock, Jonathan Clase, and Cade Marlowe. There's a lot of bulk from the Mariners, and I don't think there's a great headliner here for Kim. I know it's only 1 year of Kim, but Kim's a really, really good player. I think the Padres, I know they're kind of in a weird spot right now. Looks like they're probably going to look to shed some payroll this offseason. I don't know if they would prefer bulk in this situation. I don't know if the bulk here that you're offering is good enough. I think it just needs to be a bit more simplified with a bigger headliner here. So it's a solid idea. I'll go 40. Colby?
It's a 35 for me. There's a lot of like fringe major leaguers in the offer.
Yeah.
And Kim was almost a 5-1 player last year. Quick side note, Julio finishes 4th in the American League most valuable player race. You guys know this yesterday, but we're recording it on Thursday, so we're just figuring this out. Right. JP Crawford finishes tied for 16th, Cal Raleigh tied for 18th. So there you go. But the trade it's a lot of bulk. And when you're trading for a high quality player, typically bulk does not get it done. It does on occasion. There are some teams who like to deal in bulk, Oakland being one. Cleveland occasionally likes to deal in bulk, but this is Baroa. Okay, solid reliever. Probably decent chance he's a high leverage reliever. Hancock, number 5 starter. Jonathan Clase may not be a big leaguer. Cade Marlowe, 4th outfielder at best. Like, that's not a package that you typically want to give up or that you typically want to take for one of your better players. And Kim's not costing the Padres a ton of money, so there's no reason to salary dump him, which is what this deal kind of looks like to me. So I'd give it a 35. It's I like the Kim idea, but I don't think you're getting him for Hancock, Clase, Marlowe. Maybe if you swap Marlowe for Kelnick, maybe you have a shot there. But at that point, is it worth it for Seattle? So Kim's a tough one, but yeah, this is too much bulk for me. You need more impact, or the Padres are going to look for more impact.
Yeah.
But I guess we always say, maybe the Padres love Emerson Hancock.
Maybe. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We always say that, that we always have to take that into account. But, from our perspective and with the knowledge that we have, which is very little, I don't see it personally. All right. Seattle John has a deal here with the Reds, and this is one of the unhinged deals, I think. But it actually, I don't know. It's interesting. Logan Gilbert, Cade Marlowe, and Prolander Baroa to the Reds for TJ Friedel, Spencer Steer, and Alexis Diaz. So, Colby, you and I have talked about Bryce Miller or Brian Wu being able to get you one of these guys, like a Friedel or a Steer or someone like that. But instead, trading Gilbert and getting two of those guys and a high leverage arm in Alexis Diaz. What do you think about that? Because, like Marlowe and Baroa, whatever. It's really like what I'm focused on here is Gilbert. So, what do you think about that?
It's 5 years of Friedel, 5 years of Steer, and I think 4 years of Diaz, maybe 3 years of Diaz.
I'll look that up.
That's a lot to give up, even for somebody as good as Logan Gilbert. And like Marlowe is a throw-in, like he's not going to be a starter for the Reds, so doesn't carry a ton of value for them. And Baroa is like, we already have Diaz if we don't do this deal, and Diaz is just a better version of Baroa. So
yeah, it's 4 years of Diaz.
Yeah, like this is a lot to give up, and so I don't think that Marlowe is going to carry this for you, or Baroa. So I think for any like semblance of realism here, it'd have to be like Gilbert and Kelnick, and probably Gilbert and Kelnick for like Friedel and Steer is in the ballpark, but I don't know if I'd want to trade Gilbert if the prize is TJ Friedel, who I like, but not a huge impact guy. So,
well, and if you're the Reds, right? Dylan Cease isn't as good as Logan Gilbert, in my opinion. But why would you trade all these major league pieces for Gilbert when you could just trade prospects in theory to the White Sox, to a team that's more open to acquiring prospects, whereas the Mariners want major league talent back?
Yeah,
why wouldn't you just do that at that point instead of giving up 3 major league contributors? I know that they really need pitching, and Logan Gilbert is obviously one of the best starting pitchers in baseball, but I don't see this making a ton of sense from the Reds' point of view. It's really interesting, and it is creative. So you get points for that, but I don't see it from the Reds' point of view. So I'll give you 42 to a 45, somewhere in there, because it is creative, because you are going out on a limb there. But I don't see this even getting off the ground, really.
No, if you're the Reds, you'd rather trade Noelvi Marte and Encarnacion Strand for Dylan Cease than Friedel and Steer and Diaz. So it's like a 35-40 for me, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. All right, so next one comes from Matt. All right, this is one of the really unhinged ones, so prepare yourself, folks. It's a 3-team deal with the Orioles and the Royals. The Mariners get Bobby Witt Jr. and Anthony Santander. The Orioles get Logan Gilbert and Gabe Spire. And the Royals get Jackson Holliday, Gabby Gonzalez, and Heston Kierstad. And Matt adds, unhinged enough, Ty? It's unhinged. It's very unhinged.
This is what happens when you invite crazy into your house.
Right.
Let's just very seriously make this abundantly clear. The Royals aren't trading Bobby Witt Jr. under any circumstance. None. Zero. Zip.
I don't think this was a trade meant to be taken too seriously.
No chance. He is their Julio.
Right.
So yeah, dead on arrival. But certainly unhinged. I'll give you credit for that. But that's pretty much the only thing we're talking about in this deal. Like, I do like that the Mariners only have to give up Gilbert, essentially, and they get Bobby Witt Jr. and Anthony Santander. So
I like that part. Part. Yeah.
Sign me up for that. But this ain't, MLB The Show. I wonder if you could do this trade. Well, you can't do 3-team trades in MLB The Show.
Which is
Sucks, but
stupid. Yeah.
so dumb. But
Yeah.
I wonder if you tried to trade Logan Gilbert for Bobby Witt Jr., what they would say. Probably no, would be my guess. But
Right.
yeah, Unhinged. So on the Unhinged scale, it's definitely like a 70, but on like any normal scale, this is like a 25 or a 30 because there's just no realism to it whatsoever.
Yeah, on a practicality scale, 20. Unhinged scale, yeah, I'll go with the 70. Maybe even a 75 on that. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, I'm not going to dignify that with a real score. I'll just say that. But I appreciate you you coming through with the
next several are unhinged too. So Ty, you brought this on yourself.
Right.
You think this is going to stop me from doing this segment? You're wrong. So
right. Neil here says unhinged time. Cal Raleigh for Alejandro Kirk and Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
See, Ty's turned this into a sideshow when I'm trying to give you guys like actual like information. So
right.
20.
I gave you a few serious ones.
20 next.
I see the vision with this. I do see the vision. But
I don't.
Vlad's regressed over the last couple of years. Kirk regressed this year. No, I'm not trading one of the best catchers in baseball for this. I'm sorry. Like Vlad, it'd be cool if the Mariners got Vlad, but there's some issues there. There's some concerning signs there, and yeah, Kirk's a good defender, but
yeah, I mean, so is Cal. In a real serious note here. I don't want Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the cost I assume it's going to take to acquire him.
Right.
No thanks. I'm out. You tell me again for Ty France and Jonathan Clase, fine. Okay, I'm in. But like you're telling me like Bryce Miller? No, I wouldn't trade Bryce Miller for 2 years of Vlad. Nope.
No. All right, next trade here from all right.
You're stacking all the unhinged ones in a row here. Is that the plan?
Yeah, there's a more normal one to end things. So yeah. You're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast, by the way. Thank you again for making us your first listen here on Fanfiction Friday. We're having a lot of fun. Peter says, this is as unhinged as I can get. Bring on the 20 grade. It's another 3-team deal. This one's with the Cubs and the Reds. The Mariners get Noel V. Marte, Adbert Alzolay, who's a reliever from the Cubs, for those that don't know. Matt Mervis, who's a first base actually, I think he graduated prospect status this year, but young first baseman who really struggled this year. And former Mariner Stuart Fairchild, for some reason. Cubs get Eugenio Suarez, Alexis Diaz, Jonathan India, Emerson Hancock, and the Reds get Bryce Miller, Christopher Morel, Prolander Baroa, and Hayden Wesneski. This is a great deal for the Reds. Are you sure you're not a Reds fan, Peter?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how the Mariners gave up the most and got the least back.
Yeah.
Because like the Mariners gave up Eugenio Suarez, Emerson Hancock, Bryce Miller, and Prolander Baroa.
Yep.
For unproven Noel V. Marte.
Yep.
Matt Mervis, whatever. Stuart Fairchild's a DFA candidate the minute you acquire him. And a reliever who's probably not going to be better than Baroa this year. Like, why are the Mariners giving up everything and getting nothing in return? I don't. You think Noel V. Marte is Manny Machado, like prime Manny Machado? You're willing to stake your entire job on it? Because that's what this trade is. Interesting note, though, I have heard that the Cubs have been, sniffing around Gino a little bit. So maybe. But again, no, just no.
I will take one Ian Happ. Thank you.
Yeah, straight up for Gino.
Yeah,
sure.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I would do that. And then I'll figure out what to do it. I guess Josh Rojas is my third baseman. I'll live with that. But now I have to go get a second baseman. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head here, Peter. 20 grade. Like the most valuable person in this deal is Bryce Miller, bar none.
Yep.
And the Mariners get, I don't know, the fourth most valuable piece in this deal.
Yeah, the Mariners,
and they don't even make up the back end.
Yeah, the Mariners should be getting Christopher Morel for sure at the very least. Yeah,
it should be Noel Marte and Morel. If you're giving up Gino, no.
This breaks the scale, Peter. -20. You ask for the 20, you get negative 20. All right.
This is what happens, Ty.
Yep. This is your punishment for making me do this. Marley Corn.
Keep making me do it.
Last trade of the day here. This is from Marley Corn.
We have one more.
Oh, did I forget to put the other one on here? Whoops. You're gonna have to read that one out. You're gonna have to read that one out.
Okay.
All right. Marley Corn has Emerson Hancock for Vaughn Grissom. Why would the Braves want Emerson Hancock? That's really my initial thought here.
Yeah.
I also don't think that it's fair valuation Hancock for Grissom. I know Grissom's been disappointing and he's just kind of overrated in general in terms of like the trade discourse on Twitter, in my opinion. But I don't think Hancock is like enough for Grissom, and I also don't really see what his value to the Braves is at this time.
Yep.
35.
Yeah. Again, like Hancock is a number 5 starter, right? And the Braves are a team that if they want a number 5 starter in the rotation, which they probably don't, they're just going to go pay $7 million for a guy and keep Grissom. And it sounds like the plan for Grissom is to play him in left field a lot this upcoming year. So it doesn't sound like that's a guy they're giving up on. So yeah, there's just not a lot of value here. Just Hancock to me is the tertiary piece in a bigger deal. Or he's a guy that you're trading for like a year of a solid middle reliever. Like I really don't think Hancock is valued that high in trade talks. I'd love to be wrong, but he's just not
coming off the injury that he is though, and the injury history that he's had in his professional career.
Second time his shoulder has shut him down for the year, or at least a good chunk of it. So yeah, there's just not a lot of value in Hancock, and I don't think Grissom or the Braves are a team that would take a shot on Hancock. Be honest, did you pick Hancock because he pitched at Georgia? Is that the reason? Because like the Braves don't care about that, and frankly, the Mariners don't either. So if Hancock's getting moved, he's getting moved to like Cleveland for Eli Morgan or something like that. But he's not getting moved for a potential everyday bat, unfortunately.
All right. So what's the other trade that I missed that I forgot to put on the graphic?
You didn't send me the name, but it's Seattle gets Lamont Wade Jr. and Wilmer Flores. San Francisco gets Ty France and Jonathan Clase.
Yeah, that was from Udonis Haslem, I believe.
Okay.
Not the actual Heat
sure
player, Udonis Haslem, but yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. He is retired now. Maybe he watches Locked On Mariners. I don't know. All right. So it was Lamont Wade and Wilmer Flores for Clase and France. France, you said?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't think that France and Clase even gets you one of them. Flores is coming off of a good year, and obviously Wade too, and so is Wade too. So the reason why I bring up Flores is like I don't really see him as like you're taking on the contract, and that's part of the value that the Giants are getting as well. So yeah, I don't think that gets it done. I mean, it's interesting. Maybe it's a conversation starter at least. Both of those guys help you in several ways. You know, obviously Wade would be your first baseman, and Flores can also play there a little bit. He can play some third, he can play some second, he can rotate through the DH. He can stand
first base.
He can stand there. He can stand.
Flores at this stage of his career, mostly first base only. But yes, he can, eat some innings there, maybe play once every 10 days somewhere else. Not a lot of value here for the Giants because, they have Ty France on their team already. His name is JD Davis, who are both coming off of remarkably similar years. So France just not going to get it done. I do like the idea of going after Lamont Wade and Wilmer Flores. Either one would be a welcome addition to this ball club, but you're not going to get them with this deal. You might. Now, here's the deal. The Giants are apparently going to be pretty aggressive in free agency. We know they're interested in Ohtani. We know that they're interested in Bellinger. They already have. Maybe they're interested in bringing Jock Peterson back. Probably not. But Austin Slater is still under contract for them. Mitch Haniger is under contract for them. Michael Conforto is under contract for them. And if they add a Bellinger or whatever, that's a lot of corner outfield guys that they have to try and, work through. So at that point, Lamont Wade might be available. Now, Wade could just play first base or DH for them, but then you kind of put Flores in a spot where he doesn't help you. So I do think it's possible that Flores and or Wade get traded this winter. And I do think Seattle should have interest in both. I just don't think you're going to get them for Ty France. What value does Ty France bring the Giants that they don't already have on this roster? Nothing. So he's not going to carry any weight. Could you get one of those? Could you get Lamont Wade Jr. for Clase straight up? Probably not, but maybe Clase and, something like Clase and Hancock. I don't know, like whatever it is. But yeah, I think Wade's got 2 years left of club control. So I like the players, that you're targeting. I think they both be really good under the radar targets, but I just don't think you're going to get them with this package. So I'll say like a 40, like 55, 60 on the players that you're targeting, but the packages in general, it's not feasible as things stand right now. So I'd say 40 overall.
Yeah, 40. I would like to see Mike Yastrzemski replace one of these guys, and then
Yastrzemski's another guy,
and probably something in addition to France and Clase from the Mariners, and then that's probably a decent deal. But yeah, I'll go 40. It's a decent foundation. It's a decent conversation starter. So.
I'll go 45. I feel like this separates itself from like the kind of like 35, 40-ish grades that we throw on a lot of the mediocre ones.
Okay.
I get the thought process, but you got to look at the Giants roster as well. It's just not a fit for them. So,
but also there is no rhyme or reason to our scoring decisions, really. No, it's just, we're just vibing out here for the most part. That's what it is. This is
it's Friday. Jerry has
a very laid back. Yeah, this is a very or maybe he has. Should mention. So the reason why we're recording this on Thursday, I'm gonna be out of town on Friday today when you're watching this. I fully 100% believe that if the Mariners are going to make their first real move of the offseason, it's gonna be today because I'm not around. Because naturally,
that's disrespect to Blake Hunt.
Right. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. So if something does happen and you don't see us right away after something happens, that's why. But we'll try to get a show done as soon as possible if something happens.
I'll tell you what. If the Mariners do something, I will hop on our Patreon show and do an emergency episode solo. And before you guys are like, oh, well, how does that help me? I'm not subscribed to your Patreon. Well, subscribe to the Patreon, but you can also just sign up for a free trial membership and you can listen to us plan the offseason plan and all that stuff live. And you can listen to my reaction to this trade that's totally going to happen tomorrow. So always be plugging. Hashtag
Randy Arozarena, welcome to the Seattle Mariners. Cody Bellinger, welcome to the Seattle Mariners. I mean, they got the
they're going to do everything tomorrow.
Yeah. No, it's all of it is going to happen.
The entire offseason tomorrow.
The entire offseason is going to happen. I'm also going to be out and about on Tuesday as well. So if something doesn't happen on today, something's probably going to happen on Tuesday. Or maybe things are going to happen on both days because that's just the way that things go.
Sure. I mean, remember the famous night before Thanksgiving trade in year 2 of Jerry or year 1? Was the Haniger one the night before?
Yeah, it was the Haniger one. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Haniger Segura.
And then the Miller one was a couple weeks, like 2 days after his first season, or his first month as GM ended. 2015, 2016.
Yeah. Right as it was like a day or two after the offseason started.
Yep.
Old Nate Carnes and Boog Powell. Shout out to those guys. And Colby and
CJ Riefenhauser.
And Jerry was on with the Cespedes family BBQ guys a couple of years ago, and they were doing trade trivia with him, and that was the one guy that he couldn't even remember. He couldn't remember CJ Riefenhauser, but we can because we're freaks.
I mean, again, we said this at the end of yesterday's episode, but Jerry, hire us because at the very least, we're going to be better for PR. Like we'll go out there and
right.
we'll like, our goal is to win a World Series every single year. Do you see how simple that is? Anyways.
All right, that's gonna do our show. That was really unhinged. Thank you guys for all of your trade proposals and submissions. We'll see how often we do this over the course of the offseason. This definitely won't be the only Fanfiction Friday of the offseason. So look out for more tweets asking for trade ideas. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Trident Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Dan Gonzalez, that's DANEGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. And thank you again for making us your listen. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.